The silence in Elena's Victorian townhouse wasn't empty. It was heavy, like a lungful of humid air before a storm. At 11 p.m, Elena sat on her velvet sofa, a book resting forgotten on her lap. Her husband was across the country for work, and for the first time in years, the 3-story house felt like a hollow ribcage. A soft thud echoed from the floor above. It wasn't the sharp crack of settling wood, but the muffled weight of a bare foot hitting floorboards. Elena froze. Her heart hammered against her ribs, a frantic bird in a cage. "It's just the wind," she whispered to herself, though the windows were double-paned and locked. She gripped the banister, her knuckles white, and began the ascent. The air on the second landing was 10 degrees colder. As she reached the master bedroom, she saw it. Her jewellery box, usually tucked inside a drawer, was sitting open in the centre of the bed. The gold necklaces weren't stolen, they were arranged. They had been laid out in a perfect pulsating circle. In the centre sat her wedding ring, upright, vibrating almost imperceptibly. "Who's there?" she called out. Her voice sounded thin, stripped of its authority. The response was a rhythmic scratching from inside the wardrobe. Scritch, scritch, scritch. It sounded like fingernails against mahogany. Elena backed away, her breath coming in shallow hitches. She felt a sudden, overwhelming wave of grief, not hers, but a foreign, suffocating sorrow that tasted like salt and old copper. She turned to run back downstairs, but the door to the hallway slammed shut with a force that rattled the frames on the walls. The lights flickered and died, plunging her into a thick, oily darkness. In the dark, she felt a hand. It wasn't a physical hand, but a pressure, a freezing, static-filled touch that grazed her cheek. "Please," she sobbed, collapsing to her knees. "Just leave me alone." A whisper brushed her ear, so close she felt the non-existent breath. "You're never alone in this house, Elena. We've been waiting for the house to be quiet enough to speak." The floorboards beneath her began to glow with a faint, sickly bioluminescence. She saw shapes moving under the wood, faces pressed against the grain, trying to break through. The emotion hitting her now wasn't just fear, it was a profound sense of betrayal. The house she loved, the sanctuary she had built, was a predator. The door creaked open an inch. Elena didn't wait. She bolted, tumbling down the stairs, her vision blurring with tears of pure terror. She reached the front door, fumbling with the deadbolt. As the door swung open to the safety of the streetlights, she glanced back at the top of the stairs. A silhouette stood there, darker than the shadows around it. It wasn't a stranger. It was a perfect, dark reflection of herself, holding the jewellery box. Elena slammed the door and ran into the night, the sound of her own voice laughing from inside the locked house ringing in her ears.